The Song of the Seven Keys. Chapter 1. Echoes in the Mire. Eleron is a continent scarred by centuries of fragile alliances and wars etched into the stone of its cities. From the frozen north to the tropical forests of the south, kingdoms and fiefdoms vie for territory and resources, while ancient legends whisper of forgotten powers. In the Midwest, where fertile hills meet the deep mire, lies the kingdom of Highgarden, famous for its white towers, hanging gardens, and ancient treaties that secured peace with legendary creatures. Life in Eleron is shaped by the contrast between splendor and decay. Walled cities flourish next to forgotten villages, and ancient stone roads cross ruins consumed by moss and silence. Among merchants, adventurers, and soldiers, stories circulate about the Seven Keys, artifacts capable of opening or sealing gates of unimaginable power. No one knows if they are myth or truth, but all agree on one thing: whoever finds them will shape the continent's destiny. South of the trade routes, almost swallowed by the mire, is the village of Brejofundo. Its houses of wood and irregular stone rest on stilts, protecting the inhabitants from the slow, treacherous tide. The constant mist gives the place a ghostly air, but it is also its barrier against the curious. It was in this setting that Isaac Vancroft, in worn adventurer's clothes and with the posture of one who carries a heavy past, arrived at dusk. The sticky mud and the smell of damp wood accompanied him to the door of a humble fronted building, where 3 colored glass lanterns swayed softly in the wind. The 3 lanterns. The interior was lit by a warm light. The worn floorboards creaked under the weight of the customers, and the air was saturated with spices and fireplace smoke. Low tables occupied the center, and a long counter separated the customer area from the kitchen. Behind it, Nyarla moved, a woman with a striking presence. Fluffy lynx ears in place of human ones, a feline tail that moved naturally, and green eyes attentive to every detail of the room. A simple attendant's uniform outlined her silhouette, and in her hands a round wooden tray carried frothing mugs and steaming plates. Upon seeing Isaac, Nyarla raised an eyebrow, served him a drink without asking for his order, and commented, "You're a new face around here. Are you hunting or running?" Sitting near the fireplace, Luna, a woman with bronze skin and black hair tied in a practical bun, watched in silence. Her amber gaze assessed Isaac with the calm of one who had seen too many battles. She wore dark leather and carried, on her back, 2 curved daggers, still sheathed. Her straight posture and control of every movement made it clear that she was not just any traveler. Nyarla bended over the counter. "If you have serious business, speak quietly. Here, the walls listen too." The tavern door opened with a creak, bringing in a gust of damp air and the smell of rain. A tall man, wrapped in a soaked cloak, stumbled slightly as he entered. His pale skin and deep-set eyes betrayed sleepless nights. He crossed the room without exchanging a word with anyone, and sat down near the fireplace, where the heat could dry his clothes. Nyarla brought him a mug of something strong, and as she walked away, the man drew Isaac's gaze. "You look like someone who has seen strange things. Have you ever heard of Arvindrel?" he asked in a harsh whisper. Isaac frowned. The name sounded distant to him, like a half-formed memory. "Ruins to the north, on the edge of the mire," the man continued. "Last night I saw lights moving there, but they weren't torches, and there were shadows that didn't belong to any man." The buzz of the tavern diminished, as if everyone was trying to listen without looking directly at them. Luna, still sitting in the shadows, adjusted in her chair, interested in the conversation. Nyarla, with her ears tilted, pretended to wipe the counter, but didn't miss a word. "If you're going there, go prepared," the man warned, tightening his grip on a worn staff. "Something is waking up in those ruins." Isaac only responded with a slow nod. It wasn't the first time he heard of ancient dangers returning to the surface. Luna stood up and walked over to them, placing her hand on the table. "If you're going to get involved in this, don't go alone." The following hours were for planning. A rudimentary map was spread on the table, illuminated by the flickering light of the fireplace. Nyarla traced a path through the mire with her finger. "I know a safe stretch up to the second stone marker. Beyond that, I can't promise anything." Isaac looked at her with a mix of surprise and distrust. "Are you offering to be our guide?" "No, I'm offering to keep you from drowning," she replied dryly. With the agreement settled, all that remained was to gather supplies: ropes, blankets, a pack mule, and enough to cross a territory where the ground could disappear beneath their feet. The sun had barely risen when they left Brejofundo. The village was awakening slowly, to the sound of footsteps in the mud and the creak of doors being opened. The road to the mire was a narrow strip of firm land, flanked by still water and gnarled trees. A thick mist hung over everything, muffling sounds and distorting distances. Nyarla walked ahead, her tail moving at a slow rhythm. Luna came right behind her, her eyes attentive to every noise. Isaac brought up the rear, watching the surroundings as if expecting an ambush. Near dusk, they found a hooded man standing on a wide route that jutted out over the water. His cloak was splattered with mud, and his eyes, a strange yellow, shone beneath the shadow of his hood. "Go back," he said in a grave voice. "The third stone marker must not be crossed. There are things that do not respect the presence of blades or courage." Nyarla tried to ask more, but the man had already disappeared into the mist, as if he'd never been there. The group reached a rise formed by intertwined roots, serving as a platform over the water. From there, it was possible to see, to the right, a relatively firm strip of land. To the left, pale lights floated in the mist, moving slowly away. The group looked at each other. The silence was only broken by the creak of the cargo ropes and the light dripping of water from the leaves about. The humidity seemed to weigh in the air. The wind carried a low, almost human whisper, but impossible to understand. Isaac, Luna, and Nyarla stopped on the route platform, feeling the living wood creak beneath their feet. Around them, the mire stretched out like a silent sea of dark waters. To the right, a trail of firm ground disappeared into the fog. The path was predictable, but the sound of something large moving in the nearby waters reminded them that safety is never absolute. To the left, pale lights danced in the air, moving as if inviting the group to follow them. They were beautiful, but strangely cold, and with each passing moment they seemed farther away. Your decision will shape the course of this journey. Orderly, set up camp on the platform, reinforce security, and wait for dawn. A choice that favors caution and preservation, but may expose the group to unexpected encounters during the night. Neutral. Follow the safe path to the right, advancing to the next stone marker. A balance between prudence and progress, with no guarantees of what awaits them ahead. Chaotic. Investigate the lights in the mist, attracted by the promise of revelations or danger. A leap into the unknown, breaking the established plan. Comment orderly, neutral, or chaotic to decide the next chapter.